um, you know, no matter what you're doing archery wise, I think it's still very much embedded into your DNA. We as hunters, and so many folks that don't. I feel sorry for the folks who don't think of hunting in a good light or never want to try it, because I really do think that it taps into something. When I draw my longbow on a on an elk and I send an arrow through an elk, and I think about, how many thousands of years people have been doing that. And I'm a part of it, and it's a really cool concept to realize that you're taking an animal the way that the people that came across the Bering Strait on this continent were taking animals. It's a neat thing. Yeah.
That's pretty much about what you had, and mostly wood.
Right.
Um, my first arrows were wood with feathers,
Yep.
and a fiberglass bow. It was a 25-pound Ben Pearson. I used to make strings when I had my store, so um, that was no big deal.
That's cool. I uh, I think about the first bow that I got. I was 16, and this was 86, so compounds had been around for quite a long time, but I didn't have any money, and I think I had like $65, and I went to a pawn shop as a young kid. I don't even think I was driving yet, maybe I had a license, but I didn't have my mom's car. But I went into this pawn shop, and they had a recurve in there with a quickie quiver, which is the old quickie quiver that's stuck on the bow, but it didn't have a hood that covered up the broadheads. But they had a bunch of I think there were 6 or 7 arrows that came with the bow, and it was a Damon Howitt Hunter, I think is the name of it. I believe that was right. But anyway, I paid like $45 for this bow, and went into the backyard and started shooting it, and got good enough to where I felt like I was proficient enough to shoot a deer, and shot killed my first deer with a bow, and with a recurve. And I hunted with compounds after that, like once I got into college and kind of moved on. But I really wish I still had that old recurve that I had when I was 16, because there would be some nostalgia to it. But
Right.
now I'm back to hunting with the same stuff I started out with, because I wanted more of a challenge. I wanted to hunt with a traditional bow because you have to be closer to the animals. I killed a bunch of stuff with a compound, and I gravitated more towards the traditional side. And I have no problems with people shooting whatever they want to shoot. It's more of a personal journey for myself to be back where I started hunting with a traditional bow, and I love it.